Right. Where were we? Yes. They'd arrived at the branch facility and found it quite different to what they were expecting, to put it simply. After fighting their way through the pallid LCCB agents that were mermaids, according to Sinclair, they had exhausted their immediate number, too few to be of any significant threat to them. They then noticed someone there with them, waiting for them, arriving sooner than they had. Seeing that they'd had quite the arduous journey that they'd endured, the butterfly that they were following folded its wings and gently settled into its sloshing head. The figure's voice in the blue pinstripe suit was clear and precise, unlike that of the mermaids, and wasn't like an abnormality. Ulysses was wary of this newcomer. Sinclair didn't expect to find any unharmed survivors. I think he was harmed long before he arrived. Dante asked if he was distortion. Heathcliff seems to think that he has friends with that bullhead. Gregor, remembering the one from Bing Bong's Barn Friars earlier. It's called Yoon Bong's, actually. This one appears to be a more stable distortion, one with cognitive reasoning. This distortion noted that they were flummoxed by their appearance. It's but one of the many ways one may choose to understand a journey that is the world, telling them not to be wary. Don Quixote was fascinated by his head splishing and swashing. This distortion understood that under the night sky, where the stars have gone out, he awaited the coming dawn. He was Rim. Yi Sang was silent about this. Otis wanted to get to the point. They're not there to introduce themselves. She wanted him to explain himself. He had a reason for coming to that mad, mermaid-infested place. No other boats other than their own by the docks of the structure were there, demanding an explanation how he... And then Rim told them that he needed no boats across the ocean. He was simply there to look at all of them. Honglu was really starting to put... Well, he noticed that they were really starting to put their name out there. I don't think that's the case, Honglu. It's a reason that's completely different from that. Rim told them that they followed the Bow's golden ray. Rudyard understood that if he's there to see them, knowing what they're looking for, is he telling them where the golden bow is? Gregor saw it as obvious that he's there to stop them. Rim said that he is there to tell them where it was, and Gregor was thrown off his game. Rim saw that to seek the good bow within that structure is to understand the futility of time. Dante can't sense the golden bar that deep into the branch. There was truth to what he said. The golden bar was no longer there. Dante couldn't sense the golden bar in the branch facility. Don Quixote then asked where they should go. Rim reminded them that they're certain that they're already aware that there are parties other than them that are interested in the golden bars. N-Corp certainly are. Rim even said that they surrendered one of them after toiling for it. Actually, they were weakened after a fight against the false apple abnormality. They weren't in a position to fight back. Gregor wasn't happy about that reminder of Herman. Sinclair then asked how Rim knew that. Rim didn't answer that, saying that the whale, once fated to roam the outskirts for all eternity, is now drawn by that same incandescent gilding calling. Rather, gilded calling, yes, that's a better way of putting it. Otis asked him if the whale came from the outskirts all the way to the Great Lake for the Golden Bar. Rim confirmed this. It swallowed the whole structure whole, including the Golden Bar and the abnormalities, regardless of what it was there for. So it was no longer there. Honglu asked why he's sharing that with them. Rim didn't care who laid claim upon the Golden Bar, or to what end it was. It was no more than a fluttering of wings. They simply seek to steer the echoes of that fluttering towards a better direction. Ryushu wanted to know what or who they were. According to Rim, they are those who watch all, those who bide their time, those who will be sovereigns of a star. They are those who can't all embody the same star. Dante noticed a red mark briefly flashing on his head. This mark was familiar. Sinclair noticed this mark too. Yisang remembered, he said, those who watch. He gazed at Rim. He asked if he was watching the breaking of the League of Nine, asking what fate had befallen their old comrades. He did. Yisang asked if he's done nothing but observe. Rim was silent. Honglu asked if Rim was one of Yisang's old friends from the League of Nine. Yisang confirmed this. It was a part of his life they witnessed before. Rim was one of those who left when the League of Nine scattered into the winds. He last uttered to him that he journeyed to the ocean, yet Rim confirmed that he was one of them once. He'll answer Yisang's question. He asked why he's done nothing but watch. It's a question born of vacuity. For him, the League of Nine was dead, yet for some, its death was but a beginning. Something that he's unaware of himself. When does something end? When does something begin? The distinction is arbitrary and signifies nothing. It was a beginning for Young Ji as well. Yisang understood that he cast it aside long ago. His eye simply opened to the stem of the world, the singular yet all-important stem, once they opened their eyes to it. Everything else becomes hollow as the fall of wilted petals. Ishmael said that if the golden bar is inside the whale that devoured that place, and if the golden bars can really, somehow, counteract the palidification effects. She couldn't finish her sentence as Rim said that he could say that, indeed, what she believed, what she wished to be true, was correct. Ishmael understood. Rim hoped that it was a useful signpost to them. Yisang asked where he would seek to depart again. Rim said that he was a mere pond who only knew where the sea, the river, and the city was. Now he seeks to reach there with his wings. That is all. Wutis told him to stop right there. He knows too much. Are you sure you want to be messing around with him? Does he think that they're about to let him leave just like that? Rim basically told her that she's welcome to try, but she'll be unsuccessful. He stepped into a puddle and disappeared into its depth. The pallid mermaids returned when Rim left. Masson deduced that it was his influence that kept the mermaids at bay. Rodia was asking why. Faust could only theorize that their primal sense of certain ebbs and flows of energies remained, even as their reason eroded. Gregor was asking if she was saying that he just scared them off. Dante asked Sinclair if he saw what he saw on Rim's forehead. Sinclair noticed it as well, making it clear that he did so. That mark. It was understood that Rim had some association with Demian, one with enough power to bisect Chroma with a flick of a wrist, who was able to understand Dante. Yes, that same red sign was on his forehead. And his true goal still eluded everyone. It certainly eluded Dante. After fighting more pallid mermaids, Ishmael had to agree with Rim on this one. It was clear that there was no golden bower there. She doesn't even feel it, as she was the subject of the resignation this time, asking what would Dante do. Massault deduced that all organic matter, other than them in the branch facility, has been infected. Roger then made it clear that she noticed the mark on Rim as well, suspecting that he's with Demian, asking if they're going to be okay. Honglu pointed out that he did help them, even if he approached them very quietly. Yeah, he pointed you in the right direction. Ryushu said NWCD, or nothing we could do. What were they supposed to do? And Sinclair translated it as such. He didn't think that Demian had anything against them. Ryushu corrected him by saying, not against him. Otis was doubtful about his intentions. He didn't make his goals clear before fleeing the scene. Either he was given explicit instructions not to by Demian, sorry, or his nature as a distortion prevented him from being explicit or give a straight answer. Then Heathcliff asked if Yisang knew something about the bullhead, if he knew that bloke. Yisang told him that Rim had changed too much. He couldn't even begin to fathom his intentions. I'm guessing this is not just referring to his distorted states. Dante told them that they need to get out of there first. There's nothing else for them now. Not there. Don Quixote was concerned about those that remained there. Massault told her that there's nothing that can be done for them now. She was aware of this, but Heathcliff told her she needs to let this go, Even if he understands how she feels about this, there's one message that he's received loud and clear. Some things are too far gone to be helped. Don Quixote accepted that, although she didn't like it. Then Roger teased Heathcliff, saying that she didn't know that he knew how to comfort someone like that. He made it clear that he wasn't going to suffer that lass's gloom. They left the signals of the pallid mermaids behind in the branch facility of Lobotomy Corporation. They will likely never understand them. Their fates were sealed from the moment they walked into the branch facility without anyone else looking out for those that might follow them. Well, at least Pilot got out of there. But there is a possibility that this might make him go crazy and or distort him. Let's hope not. Before they descended down the stairs, Dante reviewed what was there. No golden bar, no survivors. Besides Pilot, and that was because Haru gave him something to make him appear as a high-value person. Ryushu said, ATFN. All that for nothing. No. It was a good chance to observe art crafted from a different perspective, so she supposed that it wasn't all for nothing. I'm expecting Ryushu to get a ring identity at some point. She'd be a perfect match for them. Roger said unconvincingly that they're going to be okay, believing that a big win followed a big loss. Gregor understood that they'd need to scour the Great Lake to find the golden bar, regretting that he never learned how to swim. Ishmael said that if Rim was to be believed, that, well, it's inside the pallid whale. Don Quixote asked if they were searching for it. A whale as big as a windmill? As large as a mansion? No. As grand as a castillo? She was about to say windmill. That's slightly relevant to her background story. So far, she seems to have a multiple choice past due to her being insane. Likely because of what happened that led her to become one of the damned dozen. Roger questioned the possibility of catching something like that. Are they going to ask nicely for it to vomit it out? She doubted that possibility and suggested that they go back. Ishmael had a look on her face that said, No! She questioned her desire to go back, and this made Roger feel nervous. Ishmael asked if they should just give up the golden bar just like that, pretend like nothing happened and just move on to the next mission. Faust was largely silent during this. Ishmael found it incomprehensible to consider it to be acceptable to throw away a golden bar just like that. Not to her. She's not going back. She's endured too much to do that. There was just one thing keeping her going in that company. One thing. Faust knows what that is. And Faust confirmed that abandoning the retrieval of the golden bar is not permitted, as success is still possible. But right now, they can't make a move. They need to head back to Virgilius before discussing what to do next. Heathcliff seeing it as the law of the Great Lake again, and Faust confirmed this. They have 2 hours remaining. Ponglu complimented him on being smart on this occasion. This annoyed Heathcliff. Seriously, Honglu is just too nice to be insulting to you on purpose. Best not to take it personally. Then something came up that surprised all of them. Dante told them to get out of there. Don Quixote basically asked, "What the is going on?" Mazot saw multiple ships in the distance, beyond the wall of mist, and it's not Mephistopheles. They're too large to be that one. Gregor asked if it was a misfire with what hit the branch facility. Heathcliff told them to look around. The water level had risen, certainly high enough to lap the platform that they were standing on. Faust informed them that this was high tide, that lake's waters can rise and fall depending on the time of day. Mazot observed that they launched something in their direction. Yes, and what they're being launched at by, Otis told them to brace for impact as another was coming. Gregor understood that it wasn't a misfire. This was numerous harpoons being shot in their direction. They weren't intended to hit them. Ryushu was annoyed regardless. She parried a few away with the back of her sword, but there was too many to deflect them all. Gregor understood that it was what he called the Twit Hook Pirates again. He respects their tenacity. Ishmael hinted that she blamed Dante for this due to his stubborn mercy when he stopped her from killing Smee. Dante had nothing to say about this. Don Quixote objected to this, telling Ishmael not to say such things, seeing Dante's judgment as noble and not a decision that they made lightly. Heathcliff told them to use their noggins for once, telling them that they're bound to that lake like they're bound to that one. Their ships can't be pulled towards them, so meanwhile, then Ishmael interrupted him, saying that the harpoons aren't for that purpose. Dante realized what she meant as the pirates used their crowbars to ride the line to their location, one of the pirates saying that it's why they call them twin hooks, with another asking the others who wants to ride the harpoon. They then fought the twin hook pirates once more. Yes, one of the hooks is the harpoons, and the other was the crowbars they use as their primary weapons. Dante noted that they were somehow fending off the twin hook pirates, but the ship in the middle was eye-catching. Honglu noting that things are usually that gaudy for a reason. Yes, there was enough purple for it to stand out. Rodia was anxious, likely knowing what this meant, especially when she saw the guy standing in the center. It was time to go to Brown Alert, certainly as far as she was concerned. Dante observing the weird guy that's been posing like that over there since the whole mess started. Rodia looking annoyed as this wasn't what she was talking about, asking if they recognized the tattoos. Ryushu certainly did. This was a BB of the middle. Okay, definitely time to go to Brown Alert. Rodia has seen what they can do. And Sync there translated that as a brother. Rodia understood this to mean big brother, but Heathcliff lacking any of the bravado that he had earlier, he was silent at this. Ishmael was also silent. Dante wanted to bring this up. What was the middle? Just the mere mention or the mere sight of them seems to shock and intimidate a lot of people, remembering how they traumatized pilots. Seriously? Were you not paying attention to Roger's background story? They're the reason why she left District 25 in the first place. Sinclair has certainly heard of the fingers and the middle. They're in a completely different level to your average syndicate. He's not met them face to face, but Roger certainly understands people like them. That they're never supposed to meet them like this. Ryushu told them that they're going to be foobar. Or up beyond all recognition. So she's having one last death stick, as it's a good day to die. Dante saw this situation as that bad? When even the Blood Knight Ryushu thinks this is hopeless. Yisang saw this trial as something to be weathered. They'll do so with dignity and tenacity. Then the big brother made his entrance on a red carpet, as if he was either the lead singer of a boy band or the lead in a strip act, asking how was the warm-up. One of the little brothers telling them to appreciate the time for a warm-up. Dante noting that he's wearing sunglasses in that gloomy weather. Otis telling everyone to prepare for battle, warning Dante that this foe is unlike anything that they've encountered before, where under dire circumstances, ensuring their safety has to be their primary objective, telling them to find a safe place to hide and stay out of sight. The big brother found this boring of them. He didn't think that it would take this long for a warm-up. Otis offered to negotiate, if he's seeking to negotiate. They're more than willing. Not to mention more than ready to listen. Don Quixote objected to this. Negotiating to a villain such as he? How? Gregor, understanding that they're the ones begging for their lives now. Roger didn't think that a big brother of the middle would be there, in person. The big brother informed them that he was, in all the years that he's spent as a part of the middle, he had the one iron rule that he's never broke. Until today. They raided his personal safe, so his hand was forced. His little brother saw this as unbelievable, asking what awful mind thinks of doing something so heinous. Heathcliff was asking if this was about what happened back at the Twin Hooks Club. The big brother has a bulky ancient book hung from his waist, secured in place by thick chains. He lifted it with his hand. On that day, he declared their sins, O guilty ones, seeing them as unforgivable. Roger mentioned that they had a little kerfuffle with Smee, but Yisang then mentioned that she remained safe and unharmed. Gregor telling him to stop. The big brother didn't know who Smee was. The little brother whispered something. Dante felt awkward that he didn't know. Yisang felt the same way as Dante, seeing his interjection as unnecessary. The big brother just added that to the list as he flipped through the pages. Ryushu explained that was the Book of Vengeance. Once your name is written on that book, Fubar is also written into your fate. Seeing it as so hilarious that she might go mad. Yeah, I think you're part of the way there already. The big brother then told them to listen, that they live in a binary world. The world that is luscious, and the world that is bristly. Asking if they're aware of the differences. Dante didn't know what the he was talking about. and it's unlikely that Faust would translate that, even if Dante wanted to speak of that. The big brother spoke of the luscious, is what flows and wraps gently around your hand with your fingers as it goes through it, and the bristly is what roughly stabs and pokes between your fingers. Patience, perseverance, and a delicate pair of talented hands are crucial to becoming the most luscious that one can be. Dante was still unsure what he was talking about. The big brother asked if they understood now the incredible amount of effort that goes into maintaining that hair in the right shape and the perfect lusciousness. There was also a coupon to get the coveted personal hand-on hair care from the director of a top-level luxury hair salon on one of the richest ports of Ucorp, the Stingray port ship, continuously for 5 hours. It is said that with that coupon, anyone could enter the world of the luscious, and anyone with a coupon had the privilege of an appointment-free visit. While Dante didn't know what he was talking about, Heathcliff certainly did. Then Dante realized that they're being accused of taking his coupons for a hair salon? Sinclair realized why Ryushu called him a brother. Ryushu meant that he can be a real to get rid of once you him off. Thinking that they should have steered clear of those. Thankfully, the big brother paid no attention to this, saying that they were to be the first steps into the world of the luscious. Yet the coupon thief left them stranded indefinitely in the world of the bristly, telling them to behold the testament of their heinous sins. He then tossed a picture before them. It showed Heathcliff as the one that stole from that safe. Well, I guess some habits die hard for that former thug. And considering that he doesn't have any tattoos that the middle would have, I find it unlikely that his syndicate that he used to belong to was middle affiliated. In fact, I don't think we know which syndicate, which finger, if any, his syndicate was affiliated with. Heathcliff protested. How was he supposed to know that safe was his? It had colourful kitty stickers on it. Thinking that it's absolutely balmy to assume that it's the safe of the middle's big brother. Seriously? You're talking someone that's likely out for your blood? So this mess is all your fault. If you had just left that safe alone, the middle would be unlikely to be there. Too late now. And it turned out that it would have made no difference if Smee was alive or dead. The big brother sees this as different tastes. Everyone has their own, like the numerous colourful lakes of the Great Lake, where his blatant lack of respect for diverse, differing tastes will be added to the Book of Vengeance as well. Roger telling someone to please shut Heathcliff up before more is added to that book. Don't bother, he's shutting up on his own. Dante then asked Heathcliff if he even knew who, what, or where those coupons were for. He didn't know. Don Quixote, who had a black and white morality, saw themselves as the villains of that tale. Have they become naught but little thieving rascals? Wherefore had he committed such villainy? He had no interest in a hair salon, yet why? Apparently he had his reasons. Then again, some people would steal the out of someone's not because they want it, but just so that they don't have it. Then Mathol, in his usually autistic level of detail, saw something good in that. As the chance in his absolution, even if he returns the coupons, is close to nil, he can keep them regardless. Sadly, they would be OOF'd, or obliteration of forehead, as Ryushu put it, before Heathcliff even gets a chance to use them. This speech made both the Big Brother and Don Quixote wipe tears from their eyes. The Big Brother then spoke of the price of their sins under Title 8, Section 20, which says, on row A, line 6, hair salon coupons. Yes, Dante was surprised by that book having instructions in case someone steals their hair salon coupons. Then he found the punishment for this: complete and total extermination of all involved parties. Execute the coupon thief and any and all of their affiliates, effective immediately. Ryushu saw him as truly a BB. He called himself Ricardo, a big brother of the middle, his name being the last name that they'll remember before they perish. Memories are important. Ryushu threw her last death stick to the ground, smoked down to the butt. She found it unsatisfying. She'll get a proper luxury cigarette next time. If there is a next time. Then Ricardo literally soared into the air. They fought the middle, one of the fingers that ruled the backstreets. The middle fought with chains acting like brass knuckles, and their strength augmented using tattoos similar to that used by the stray dogs, who were thumb affiliates. The little brothers, they were able to handle. But Ricardo, on the other hand, was an altogether different prospect. He was humouring them, but after a time he got bored and decided that he was done humouring them. He took out all of them. Ishmael charged at him. Unfortunately, he was strong enough to knock her out of her identity, and then charged at her again and took her out as if he was doing a finisher worthy of a certain fighting game series. Then Ricardo noted that they regenerate like nothing happened, unlike his hairdo, which he believed should have received its rightful care that day, and will never recover. Oh, for wing's sake! Get over it, Ricardo! Your insignia basically gives everyone the finger. You should know better than most that what comes around goes around. Did you think that you were above consequences? Anyway, Dante questioned if their clock could even make a difference against someone so overwhelmingly powerful. Their legs began to shake. Strategy, resurrections, it all seemed meaningless against that onslaught. It's basically Chroma all over again, except in Ricardo's case, he's not distorted. Faust called for Dante, who was not in good shape. It had never sounded so hollow for his name to be called. Dante told her to speak. She told them to come up with a new plan, that her bodily functions will cease again in a matter of moments. It might be her last meaningful advice to them. Sooner or later, Ricardo will come for them. Dante didn't didn't like the sound of that. Faust saw that the involvement of an individual affiliated with the middle should not have happened. Well, we can blame Heathcliff for that. He's the one who broke into the safe in that club that was run by a middle affiliate. I doubt he would have done that if he'd known, but clearly ignorance is no excuse with this, especially when it comes to the middle. So what if you're with Limbus Company and you're in a mobile HQ? That means nothing to these people. If they know that you're in the same area as them, they will hunt you down until they complete their judgment. And unlike K-Corp, it's not the end of it if you're killed and are brought back to life. Anyway, she didn't see it as mattering how many times they turned back the clock. He'd crushed their clock as soon as he'd tired of inventing different ways of killing Heathcliff. Yes, we get it, he's a petty or a brother, as Ryushu put it. She then spoke of a button on the back of their head, told them to tap it a number of times and hold it a number of times, as she was instructing them. They recalled that they've grown accustomed to total annihilation. They've had plenty of that on their journey there. The damned dozen gave their lives to learn enemy attack patterns and weaknesses, while Dante worked out a strategy from the rear. They somehow found the answer. They slowly and eventually figured it out, which was why they rose again to keep on fighting. But this time was... Then we snapped back to the instruction by Faust, who told them that once this sequence was completed, they'd have 30 seconds before the charge in their head explodes. Yeah, it's a self-destruct charge. Dante was silent about this, and Faust made it clear that this was a last resort, a preventative measure to stop, a preventative measure to stop their enemies from getting their hands on the golden bars. It has a small explosion radius, but the heat and force generated would be powerful enough to melt even the stars of the city. So it might cause the likes of even Kali, the Red Mist, severe damage. Faust believed that it would be effective enough to cremate the golden bars as well. So, is she expecting Dante to use this charge? Time it, and so they grab Ricardo, and then when the charge explodes, it has a chance of taking the big brother of the middle with them. Yes, if it could deal with a star of the city, then a big brother, it's possible. Then Dante asks, what about Virgilius? He's supposed to intervene in this kind of situation, but then they realized how that's not possible in this case. Faust puts that realization into words, that they can't relay their present position to him, and even if they could somehow communicate this, he can't reach them within the next 2 hours. In short, they are well and truly... Dante asked, what about them? When Dante is done, Dante was likely going to say that they'll stay dead. And Faust was aware of this. Their story would end there. It's why the self-destruct charge is the last resort. Dante had an idea. To keep running. To take the boat and try and stay alive until the laws of the lake lets Virgilius cross the borders, and Faust seeing this as having a slim chance of working. which by her standards is optimistic. Dante didn't know what to say about that. It was Siegfried all over again. The feeling of dread that broke even their fighting spirits. Although, that time, it was just humiliating. The intention wasn't obliteration. It was just to teach them a lesson. And that lesson was, don't around breaking taboos, or you'll receive his good friend, pain. Ricardo, on the other hand, he won't stop until he's completely broken all of their wills. Until he's satisfied. He won't kill them and make them stay dead. Not until the humiliation that the middle faced was paid in full. Faust understood that even though this might be the end of LCB, Limbus Company must continue to exist, telling Dante that they must make a judgment call. Yes, we get it. As far as disproportionate retribution is concerned, the middle made this their trademark. Clearly Virgilius will need to find another to make an empathic healer, and gather another iteration of the damned dozen after that, hoping that they're at least more bearable than the last lot. Meanwhile, Ricardo saw something interesting. He tore someone to pieces, yet with burning eyes they still attempt to rise. It was Ishmael. She couldn't. Not there. Not like that. Even though she was in agony and drenched in her own blood. Ricardo observed that the clock was also bringing her back from the dead. He asked if that technology was even legal, wanting to ask the Great Sister once he got back. Well, he clearly answers to someone. Well, it's legal as it involves time inversion, where it's as if the death never happened. As stated in Chapter 4, it's only illegal if it brought back the body and soul together. Dante tried to say something to Ishmael that they couldn't win, but Dante couldn't say this to her, not completely. Didn't need to either, she knew this better than anyone. There was no need to tell her what she didn't already know. Ishmael said, "Shut up," telling Ricardo to stop around and do his job. Ricardo, on the other hand, decided to continue around, offering her another try at killing him. Ishmael tried this, even though she was barely able to, telling Dante to bring her back again. This was clearly entertainment to him. Each time Dante inverted time, he howled with laughter and clapped with joy. Honestly, is there so little entertainment in District 21 that he decided that this was award-winning? It certainly wasn't looking good for them, was it? In the next part, I shall cover what happens next. Until next time, hail the rabbit!